All right, friends, like I said, we're going to spend some time now thinking about how the two poems, the wood thrush and This Is Just to Say, are the same. How are they similar? One way that we know both of these poems are similar is because they don't have the author listed, but they are both by William Carlos Williams, who is our main character in A River of Words. So when we think about Willie, here we go. I was grabbing my book to show you guys. When we think about Willie from A River of Words, the main character becomes a poet at the end of the story. And we know that he was actually a real person and a real poet in real life. So both of these, the wood thrush and This Is Just to Say, are by the same author, William Carlos Williams. So if we look at our chart, the first way that they are similar is that they are written by William Carlos Williams. Another way that they are similar or the same is that they are both poems. We know that they are not books, like that we read the story that we read about the author. They are not books, they are poems, which is a different type of text. Something that, a part of the way that we know that they are poems is if we look again, they each have what we call stanzas or different groups of lines. So here we have stanza 1. Here we have, let me go ahead and circle the stanzas. Here is stanza 1, and This Is Just to Say because I have a group of 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Here is stanza 2 and stanza 3. All of these stanzas in this poem have 4 lines. If we look at the wood thrush, here we have a group of lines, 1, 2, 3 lines. So this is stanza 1. This group of 3 lines. We have a space separating the first stanza from the second stanza, another group of 3 lines, and stanza 3, our last group of 3 lines. When we see that our text is organized in groups of lines or stanzas, we automatically know that it's a poem. So looking back at our chart, we know that they are poems because they both have a title and 4 stanzas with many lines. We talked about when we read them for the first time how they don't rhyme, but that's okay because the author finds other ways to express his creativity by the shape of the lines and by the shape of the stanzas. We do know that they're both about nature. So we talked about how This Is Just to Say talks about plums and how those plums were so cold and delicious, the speaker couldn't help himself but to eat them. And then this one is about a wood thrush, which we know is a type of bird. It never says bird in the poem, but thinking about how the wood thrush flew into the garden, how he was looking silently, and how he had a dappled breast, a white chest with polka dots, all of those things give us clues that the wood thrush is a type of bird. Plums and wood thrushes, plums and birds are both things that we find in nature. And thinking about how we know that the author is Willie Carlos Williams, we know that Willie loved to explore outside. So just like we read about in the story, the author is using his inspiration from exploring to write his poems. Because as we see, both of these poems are about nature. So looking at our chart again, we learned that both of the poems are the same because they have the same author. They're both poems. We know that they're poems because of the stanzas and lines. It's okay that they don't rhyme, but we do know that both of them are about different things in nature. Now that we know how they're the same, we're going to spend a little time talking about how they're different. We've already gotten to see and read the poems. Can you think about how they're different?